He got caught up in the whole thing.
So apparently I can't do this. Let's go sit down.
On Alex. Oh, hello. Good morning. That was amazing. It just filled all my senses. I just want to clap again. Is that okay? That's awesome. Okay. All right, I'll calm down. Good morning. It is wonderful to be with you on this fine fall day. My name is Melissa Terrell, and I'm your worship associate today. Welcome to Pacific Unitarian ... We are an intentionally welcoming congregation who come together to find community, nourish our minds and spirits, and work for social justice. We welcome people of all beliefs, races, abilities, sexual orientations, and gender identities. If you're visiting for the first time, we're especially glad that you're here. We want you to know that we have religious education for school-age children, which happens right after the time for all ages. Brunch will be served on the patio after service. The suggested donation is $5 per plate, but your first time is always free of charge, and no one will ever be turned away for lack of payment or for extra payment. Just a little FYI. If you know, you know. Let's take a moment to remember that we're gathered on the unceded ancestral lands of the people now known as Tongva, Quiche, and Gabrielino. For now, let's acknowledge, and going forward, may we work toward greater education, connection, and stewardship of this land. I have some announcements. The adult RE course, Class Aware, is going strong. The next meeting will be next Sunday, and in a couple of weekends, November 1st, there will be a Dia de los Muertos and Samhain celebration with Pacific Sage Preschool right here, and it sounds like a lot of fun. Please check your email and check the website for more updates. I have some special guests to make their own announcements. So first I'd like to call up Gary. Come on up, Gary.
We are in the middle of voting for our choice for a potential new name for our church. If you recall, we told you that we were going to be doing every Sunday in this month with a ballot. We did the last 2 Sundays. We have now 68 ballots returned. So I just wanted to know that the Holy Sepulchre of the Unitarian Universalist God-aware world is coming up strong now as a potential name. No, I can't say that again. I just made that up. So anyway, we have 2 Sundays left, today and next Sunday. If you are a member and you haven't yet voted, remember this is not Chicago. You can only vote once. So please put your ballots in the ballot box in the back to this Sunday or next Sunday, the last 2 times. If you know someone who hasn't voted yet and can't make it to the next 2 Sundays, they can email a vote into Gabby. Just send it to admin@pacific-unitarian.org. So vote if you haven't voted already, and encourage everybody to come to the next Sunday and vote, or mail it in if you have to. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now my favorite Melissa Garcia, our board president, is going to give us some updates.
Good morning, everyone. Melissa Garcia, I'm your board president. I just wanted to give a few announcements as to kind of what we're working on, what we're doing, and things coming up in the year ahead. Let's see. We have Joshua's installation on Saturday, January
17th, yeah.
17th. So that's going to be a very special day where it's an official, sorry, my glasses are stuck in my hair. It's official welcoming into our community, Pastor Joshua Berg. And so it's going to be a beautiful event. He has speakers coming in from all over the place, and people and visitors from all over the place. It's going to be a wonderful event. That's going to be at 11 a.m. And lunch. Let's see, I'm going to try and go in order here. We are looking into changes to our events coordinators, are basically who run our weddings. So that's something that we've been working on to have more events here, get our name more out there, and to have more income. So we have that. We have Kiki Wiley, who's a board member, and she and her has a committee, and they are working very hard on creating a strategic plan based on our mission and vision that we voted on last June. So they are doing that to get us back in line with our bylaws, and so we have a plan of action to continue on with our vision. And so we are very excited about that, to kind of have an idea of what we're doing and where we're going with our values and the future of our church. January 3rd, right after the holidays, we are going to have a very fun event on a Saturday morning, and we want you all to come out for a beautification day. So bring your work gloves, your sponges and your power washers and everything we can. We're going to make this campus, we're going to clean it up. We might do some paint touch-ups or whatever we can do. As many volunteers as we can get is how much work we're going to be able to do. We will have, of course, supplies. I'm going to be working with Tracy Blender on working on little paint for places that might need a little paint polishing. So mark your calendars. After the holidays, come on over to on a Saturday, January 3rd. There will be announcements, of course, but just be aware of that. Let's get this place beautiful for Pastor Joshua's installation. We want to get a first one in that. And depending on how much we get done there, we might have another one later in spring just to kind of do more in depth.
Another installation?
Yes.
Oh, well.
No, another beautification project. We should be doing this at least once or twice a year anyway, to really, literally clean the cobwebs out of the corners. So we're gonna be doing that on July 3rd. And in April, I think it's the 20-something or other, I don't have the dates because, well, I just scribbled some notes. 23rd, 24th?
24th through 27th? No, 26th, around that.
The mid-20s of April.
Yeah.
We are hosting the Pacific Southwest District Assembly. And the Pacific Southwest Assembly, yes, is our regional gathering of UU churches where we get together, share ideas. We have people from the UUA come and speak. Other congregations come and speak. It's a time to connect with our larger UUA community. There will be tickets because you do get lots of meals, like a whole weekend worth of meals and part of your price of admission, which is probably gonna be about $125 for the weekend. But that's not set in stone yet. It's really fun. It's really interesting to meet people from the different congregations. And UUs are just so interesting. So it's just really a cool thing to get together. The PSWD is also the congregations that support and co-own, kind of, Camp de Benneville. So as part of the weekend, there will be a board meeting for Camp de Benneville. So if you want to have an idea of what is happening at camp, how things happen at camp, and where they are financially, that's where the big annual board meeting happens. It's great. We went last year, and it's a really neat experience. Two smaller things. Lunch Love is having a donation jar out at the food collection table. So Lunch Love provides meals to those less fortunate, do we know? Community's Child, who serves elderly or low income, do we know? Low income. Okay, low income, no food, so it's for people who really need it. We also, as a little side note, today is Jose's birthday. Jose is taking the week off. It's much deserved, and we're glad that he does that because he works so hard. This man works incredibly hard and is an incredibly valuable person to our community. So there is a little vampire coffin at the table. So even if you're not having lunch with us today, please put a few dollars in there for Jose and for Lunch Love to support them. So if everyone just gives a couple dollars for Jose, he's going to have an amazing gift from the church. So I personally would really appreciate anything that you are able to give for Jose because he's so amazing. Those are all of my announcements. I often ramble on too much, and so have a wonderful morning.
Thank you. And if you want to find out more, there's a QR code right there that you can scan. Okay, let's worship. I have some chalice lighting words by Melanie Davis. If ever there were a time for a candle in the darkness, this would be it. Using a spark of hope, kindle the flame of love, ignite the light of peace, and feed the flame of justice.
It's there. It's climbing up slowly. There we go. The slow burn of justice. Good morning, everybody. I am Pastor Joshua. It's lovely to see you all here this morning. Sorry, my voice is a little bit hoarse, but I used it up yesterday a little bit. Oh, thank you. It was so wonderful to see so many of you there yesterday. Very powerful event. And thank you, Melissa, for your words this morning. And Gary and Melissa. And thank you, Severin, and to our choir, Spirit of Life Choir, for the amazing music that you'll hear throughout this service. I'm going to say some brief opening words to call us to worship. And those words are from someone named James Pierce, who I think plays for a team in Atlanta, actually. Isn't there James Pierce? Anyway, the words are, "The moment is not found by seeking it, but by ceasing to escape from it." With that, let us worship this morning. Please rise in body or spirit for our opening hymn, number 1028, Fire of Commitment.
Days remembered burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear.
We're starting it again now that we can see the words.
The light of days remembered burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the stories of our living brings a song both brave and free, calling pilgrims still to witness to the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the dreams of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise
I'd like to call up Haven and the
Not Haven.
No,
We changed it. It's going to be Naresh to talk about Diwali.
Naresh.
Yes.
That's why he's sitting there with notes. Okay, I'd like to call up our own Naresh Deo and the kids for a moment for all ages.
Do we have a mic? Oh, we do. There you go. Sure, no problem.
Good morning.
Good morning.
These are my notes. Good morning. No, just kidding. All right. So does anyone know when is Halloween? All right. Go ahead. But when is it?
He said a day for trick-or-treating. Do you know when it is? That's true. Close. Pretty soon. 2 more days.
Okay, so it's always on October 31st, but today we are going to talk about a festival from the country of India. You know, that's the only country where Pastor Joshua has not lived. So the festival is called Diwali, and Diwali is celebrated on the no moon night, the dark night of the Indian month of Ashwina, which happens to be during October or November time frame. It's never the same, like Halloween. It's different every year because we follow a lunar calendar in India. And Diwali means a row of lamps. You can see it there. That's what Diwali means. It's a festival of light. And this time of the year, there are many, many festivals of light in different religions, different faiths, and different communities. So it's one of the many festivals of light. Diwali is actually a 5-day long festival, so you would love it. It's celebrated for 5 days, though main Diwali is on the 3rd day of this 5-day period. Children wait for Diwali, just like you wait for Halloween or for Christmas or any of your holidays. Children wait for Diwali because it's celebrated with fireworks and lighting of candles and lamps and many other things. But best of all, there are special sweets, just like at Halloween or other holidays. And then kids get new clothes at Halloween because this is the beginning of a new year in many of the Indian faiths and religions and so on. So you get new clothes to wear. And it's a celebration of victory of good over evil. Hopefully we will see that happen here soon.
Yes.
And it's part of many of the epic stories from the Indian community or Indian religions. So it's the celebration of a king who returned after a victorious war, but it was a righteous war. So he returned to his kingdom, and that's the celebration. People celebrated with lighting lamps and candles and merriment and fireworks and so on. So it's a celebration. But it's also the start of the financial year, the year when people close their books of the previous year and start a new year in the business community in India. And then many of the Indian faiths and religions, and it's a big country, so there are many faiths and religions observed. They also happen to have a holiday at this time of the year, whether it's the celebration of the birth of their founder of their religion or some other thing. So it's a very special time in India, just like Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas are a special time. So now, please go and enjoy the Halloween season because in US, it's the start of the business year for all our businesses.
Happy Diwali. Yay, thank you. Thank you.
Let's
Thank
sing
you,
out-
Naresh.
Let's sing out the kids. time has come for our lighting of candles of joy and
And so many joys that remain unspoken, that remain in our hearts and in our spirits, that remain in this space together with all of us today as we support each other. This candle is for those. So let's take a moment of silence to feel the spirit of each other, provide support spiritually for each other's sorrows, and celebration spiritually in silence for each other's joys. To close out this portion of the service, I'd like to read a poem that I've always found meaningful and that seems appropriate right now. It's by Audre Lorde, and it's called A Litany for Survival. For those of us who live at the shoreline, standing upon the constant edges of decision, crucial and alone. For those of us who cannot indulge the passing dreams of choice, who love in doorways, coming and going, in the hours between dawns, looking inward and outward at once before and after, seeking a now that can breed futures like bread in our children's mouths, so their dreams will not reflect the death of ours. For those of us who were imprinted with fear, like a faint line in the center of our foreheads, learning to be afraid with our mother's milk, for by this weapon, this illusion of some safety to be found, the heavy-footed hoped to silence us. For all of us, this instant and this triumph, we were never meant to survive. And when the sun rises, we are afraid it might not remain. And when the sun sets, we are afraid it might not rise in the morning. When our stomachs are full, we're afraid of indigestion. And when our stomachs are empty, we're afraid we may never eat again. When we are loved, we are afraid love will vanish. When we are alone, we are afraid that love will never return. When we speak, we are afraid our words will not be heard nor welcomed. But when we are silent, we are still afraid. So it is better to speak, remembering we were never meant to survive. Please remain seated for our centering hymn, number 1023, Building Bridges.
Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make such sweet harmony. Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make such sweet harmony. Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make such sweet harmony.
Shayna Hammer, by the way. Sometimes she comes and I didn't know, so her name isn't in the program, but I want to acknowledge our amazing singers. And also, the little flame that started has grown pretty big. Look at that. We're going to show a video for our reading today called Meet the Moment. And it's Reverend Ashley Horan, who is the Unitarian Universalist Association Vice President for Programs and Ministries.
Have you ever had a moment when you're talking with a friend, just chit-chatting and sharing about your lives, and they say something that makes you go, what? What planet are you living on? Are we experiencing the same reality? I had a moment the other day like this with a friend, and it made me realize that I was operating under the assumption that they shared the same view of the world and similar opinions about the forces acting in it. And it turns out that we did not. Even in this very particular political moment, even as the forces of authoritarianism and capitalism, racism and patriarchy are dividing us and terrorizing us and our loved ones, my friend and I did not share the same view of what's happening to and around us and why. This is, of course, true also for Unitarian Universalists. It turns out we don't share an analysis about what's going on, and without that, it's very hard to decide on a unified response, a faithful response, which is so needed at this moment. It's time for us to actually grapple with reality together, intentionally and lovingly, on levels both large and small. Are we experiencing a rapid decline into 21st century fascism, or is this a blip on the radar of global democracy? Are we witnessing the death of mainline religion, or is the time ripe for new forms of religious community? Is the dip in our congregation Sunday school attendance because of pandemic realities and competing family activities, or because our religious education program is not meeting the needs of our families? Friends, the practice of really facing the enormity of the times that we are in is not for the faint of heart. There are some very daunting challenges facing our planet, our nations, our faith, and probably your congregation too. But as the great Black American cultural critic and philosopher James Baldwin said, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. When we do the collective work of discernment about the realities of this moment, we give each other strength and permission to actually face into it. Unitarian Universalist communities are places where we can do this together and not on our own, which allow us to know a more full, more detailed truth about this moment and to hold each other as we fully face into it. At our best, Unitarian Universalists are both deeply grounded in our shared core values and commitments and nimble enough to respond to the challenges and opportunities that emerge in rapidly changing times. This is the moment to go deep, to be curious, to listen to the truth that we each know, and to not be afraid of the answers that we might find. Guided, of course, by our UU values of transformation and interdependence, justice and equity, pluralism and generosity, all with love at the center. And so I ask you, what is the moment that we are in as Unitarian Universalists and in our wider world?
We are in a moment of profound crisis here in the United States and also globally.
Right now, it seems like injustice is running rampant around every corner.
Our political system, the democracy that we have known here in our country, is under attack.
Systems of oppression and ways of thinking that undergird so much of our society are cracking and crumbling.
The very things that are at the core of our beliefs, our shared UU values, love, equity, justice, compassion, are all being marginalized and even criminalized.
We're already seeing the destruction of the right to bodily autonomy, assembly, free speech. I am sure that freedom of religion is on that list.
The moment we are in is one of chaos and unceasing horror. There is a collective anxiety being felt around the globe.
There are disabled people afraid to go out, terrified of overwhelming threats to their existence. You have people in your community who have no place to live, and others who are being ripped away from their families.
Every single person deserves wellness, deserves surviving, and deserves thriving.
I believe we are in a moment of chaotic reminder of age-old oppressions, of hatred, of greed, of power grabbing, of empire, and fear.
We are in a moment of extremely high stakes. It's one of those moments where it feels like the entire world is on the brink.
There are forces all over the world that are trying to move us all rightward towards more authoritarianism and away from freedom.
This moment is one where extractive, capitalist, and white supremacist structures have divided people further apart and collectively moved us towards a precipice where total apocalypse feels more real than the apocalypses we have faced before.
The erosion of our democratic institutions, the rise of authoritarianism both on a national and global scale, and the driving force behind it being unchecked greed, capitalism, colonialism.
And authoritarian oligarchs are doing everything they can to keep hold of their power that depends on strict social hierarchies. They are wielding the weapons of fear and disinformation in order to maintain control.
In this moment, we are in a confluence of incredible crises. This includes the crisis of climate change, the crisis of the assault on all the institutions of our democracy, and perhaps most important, a crisis of the denial of the sacredness of life and the independence of all life.
I think the moment we are in is a moment of deep reckoning and rapid transformation. Climate disruption is accelerating, authoritarianism is rising, wounds from racism, colonialism, and economic inequality remains unhealed.
Healthcare, housing, freedom to migrate, education, mental health, physical health, when all of these things are possible for all people, that is what is at stake right now.
The racism, the xenophobia, queerphobia, Islamophobia, disdain for the old and the young and the sick and the poor, this all may be fiercer now, but none of it's new.
Everything changed in the world when the United States
Can we pause it for a sec?
functionally handed over the political.
Yeah, sorry, I may have sent the longer version. I meant to send the shorter version, but we can all watch it. Can we skip to the end when Reverend Horan speaks again? She's not speaking again way at the end. It's okay. It's okay. That was my fault. I sent the wrong clip, but that's okay. But you get the idea. Yes. It was supposed to be an introduction by Reverend Horan, so that was my bad. Thank you. So as you did hear in the video, the UUA, the Unitarian Universalist Association, is considering and asking all Unitarian Universalists to consider how to respond to this great and often frightening changes we are experiencing in our country and in the world, in a way, as she said, that both remains faithful to our transcendent values while allowing for a reinvention of our religious structures, of our practices and rituals and cultural norms, so that those values, our values, can flourish even in this transformed landscape. Meet the Moment, this work, is a framework to help UUs do this together across the nation, across the world, in the coming months and in the coming years. And it's a set of tools and processes designed to build a shared analysis about the terrain we're navigating, identify the most urgent and important needs and opportunities that are arising, and discern how our UU values are calling us to respond, and ultimately to design courageous, impactful strategies that we can try on together. I'd love for us to do this work here at PUC. And the first step in meeting the moment, doing this work, I believe, is thinking about what moment we are actually in. Some of those people started talking about it, but I'd like to take a little stab at it myself. So since the last presidential election, I have been feeling a strong sense of loss and a strong sense of grief, as I'm sure many of you have. The recent death of my mother last month helped me actually to frame this greater sense of grief that I'm feeling. See, my mother, as many of you saw in a video at one time, was this vibrant, free spirit with this incredible ability to inspire others. She was a public speaker and a trainer. And she raised me to be hopeful and to be positive, to believe that I could do anything that I set my mind and I set my heart to. And this country, too, the America that raised me, held the promise of a freedom that was inspirational, that made me proud of my citizenship, and encouraged me to believe that there were few barriers to living any way that I chose. Then, in the course of one day, the mother I knew was seemingly taken by a devastating stroke. And what seemed just as quick, really, was my dissolution of the notion that America was the country that I thought I knew. Although I had hope through therapy that my mother would improve and maybe even return to a version of her former self. But over the coming course of the months of her stroke and years, as her ability to speak and her ability to move barely showed any improvement, the slow realization that given her age and given the severity of her condition, she might never improve, produced a level of grief in me that I had never known. And in a similar way, I held out hope that we could halt the onset of authoritarianism in America. That we could do the work, that we could do the therapy, that whatever we could do to stop it from coming, but it's come. The fascists and the bigots became more and more emboldened to not only express their ideologies, but to have the power to implement them. And so I feel about our country a similar deep and abiding grief. The death of my mother was almost less shocking to me, to my system, because I knew my mother was mortal. She would die at some point. But naively, I thought America would continue as the country I thought I knew forever. In addition, I never doubted my mother's strength and love. Excuse me. But recent events have caused me to come to grips with the many lies I have been told about this country. That the evils we are seeing now in the open have always been there, hidden from me, sheltered by my privilege. However, what I've also realized in confronting my grief at the loss of my mother is that the death of my mother's body, her corporeal self, has not and will never mean the loss or the death of her spirit and her gifts to the world. They will live on forever. She lives on in my spirit, in the spirit of my children, and the spirit of everybody that she influenced. Every positive thing and all the positive energy that my mother brought is still here. Still just as real, still just as influential. And in a similar way, the things that I believed about America are still here. They're still available to us. The potential for a true, transformative, and radical freedom that was promised. The promise of an American dream that entails lifting ourselves so that we can lift each other. That's the true American dream, and it's not dead. I know that because yesterday at the No Kings rally, I saw once again the power of community and the love that exists in the heart of the majority of people in this country. I saw that American spirit. I saw that American dream. And just as I'm supported by my mother's energy that lives forever in me, I am motivated and I am energized by the American spirit that is not represented by the Christo-fascists that currently appear to hold power, but instead represented by the compassionate, by the fair-minded, by the just populace that is truly the power source of this country. We are the power source of this country. And to truly meet this moment, as Reverend Horan said, in addition to understanding this collective power of love that is ever present, unfortunately, to meet this moment, we still have to entertain the grief. Many of us feel the grief I talked about. And we still and must confront the troubling realities that actually define this moment that they were talking about. So today I'll start with the hard truth. We have tragically become an authoritarian-led nation. There are many sources one can turn to understand what that means. The author Umberto Eco wrote an essay that lists features that are typical of what he calls ur-fascism or eternal fascism. They include things like a cult of tradition. You do it just because it's tradition, or the rejection of modernism, or the fear of difference, or permanent warfare, or Orwellian news speak, fake news, and more. He writes that they are enough, these things, that one of them be present to allow fascism to coagulate around it. We have a number of them present. Rachel Maddow, in her podcast Ultra, which was based on her book Prequel, she charts, quote, the rise of a wild American strain of authoritarianism that has been alive on the far right edge of our politics for the better part of a century. These things that were hidden to me. Read Prequel, listen to Ultra. You will hear this history of the rise of authoritarianism before I even knew anything about it. Robert Reich, the eminent economist, talks about authoritarianism and fascism extensively on YouTube in ways most everybody can understand. So any student of history can clearly see the parallels between our country's current regime and other authoritarian regimes. In fact, the current fascists themselves have documented their plan for an authoritarian state in Project 2025. It's documented. You can read it. They're saying it. They're not hiding it. However you come to the information, we all must understand what we are dealing with in order to reverse course. The framework that has really helped me, that has best clarified what this all means for me, is called the 10 Steps. And it's laid out by Stacey Abrams of Georgia in her campaign of the same name, the 10 Steps. And you can find them at 10stepscampaign.org, 10 being the number. They are the following disturbing truths. 1, win the last fair election. Autocrats often come to power, historically, through democratic means, and then they ensure it's the last free election. 2, expand executive power. Push executive authority beyond legal boundaries, testing what the system will tolerate. 3, capture the other branches. Co-opt Congress and neutralize the judiciary, eliminating checks and balances. 4, gut the civil service. Fire competent, nonpartisan civil servants who might resist illegal orders. 5, install loyalists. Replace qualified officials with loyalists to weaponize government agencies. 6, attack the media. Discredit independent journalism and replace it with state propaganda. 7, scapegoat vulnerable communities. Blame minorities and immigrants and marginalized groups for national problems and demonize diversity, equity, and inclusion. 8, I know this is hard, we're almost coming to the end. But we have to admit these things are happening. Destroy support systems. Dismantle institutions that protect rights. Legal aid, universities, advocacy groups. 9, normalize violence, militarize law enforcement, and foment state-sanctioned or private violence to silence dissent. And 10, end democracy itself. Disrupt election systems and restrict who can vote so no meaningful opposition ever wins again. Whoo! Okay. The reason I love Abrams' framing is not only because it's simple and straightforward, it's because she also lists the 10 steps to freedom and power. Yes, bring them on. She writes that, quote, defeating authoritarianism, it's not this cinematic moment. It's what so many demonstrated yesterday. It's thousands of individual, community, and institutional actions thousands of them that are stronger and more consistent than those who would oppress us. 1, commit. Understand what's happening. That's what we're talking about. Not simply the headlines, but the effects of policies on you and your community. Our strength lies in numbers. We had 40,000 in Torrance alone yesterday. Join in. 2. It may have been 40,002. I didn't get the exact count. It was close. 2, share. Stay informed. Share the facts on social media, in group chats, in your circles. Not just why you care, but how you are taking action. Remember, others feel this way too. 3, organize. Create a group of friends, family, and allies who want to work towards a common goal. Pick your issue. There's so many, but pick yours. That's it. That's organizing. 4, mobilize. Once you've organized, do something. Share banned books. Help immigrants. Join a tenants union. Host public events and regular conversations. We're talking to LA Voice in our social justice meeting tomorrow about hosting house parties. It's not about size, it's about movement. And 5, litigate. You don't have to be an attorney to be part of litigation. If you or someone you know has been harmed, be a plaintiff, be a witness. If you are in the legal field, volunteer to help vulnerable populations. 6, disrupt. Don't be part of their system of disinformation or compliance. Protest, then do more. Like, film violations of civil rights. Yeah, like, I don't understand anyway. Or hand out Know Your Rights cards. We have plenty of Know Your Rights cards in the office in occupied cities. Block propaganda. Call out propaganda. 7, deny. Refuse to be complicit in how authoritarians strip us of our language, of our engagement, and our connections. You saw the Army generals silently dissent. You see the news media right now saying, no, we won't sign those pledges. Universities saying, no, we deny. Create community, practice nonviolent civil disobedience, and boycott groups that are hurting us. 8, engage. Work with your local elected officials to introduce policies and proactive legislation, especially at the state and local levels. Do it yourself if the rules allow it. Start ballot initiatives, public petitions, and more. 9, elect. Federal elections are crucial, but we cannot forget that harm can come at every level of government. So can change. Change can come at every level of government. We must give people something to believe in again. So participate in your local elections for city council, for county commissioner, for state legislator, judicial elections, every single one. And 10, demand. It's not enough to just reclaim what we had. We must demand more and build a better government. We have the opportunity to do that. So be clear about what we deserve from our allies and from those who would destroy democracy. Don't meekly ask for what we think we can get. Declare what kind of country we intend to build, and then let's get to work. Those are her 10 of hope. 10 steps. So yes, it's important, as I said, to understand this moment, to start to address it. But Abrams reminds us that we don't need to be experts. We don't need permission. We just need to start. Start where you are, with what you have, among those you know. Just as my mother's spirit lives on, I know there's a powerful American spirit that is not represented by the current administration. They represent nothing that is American. I know that tapping into that spirit so strongly represented in this congregation, and everyone who showed up at the rally and every other rallies. That spirit will lead us to grieve. Tapping into that spirit will lead us to grieve an America we thought we knew, the one I've been grieving. But more importantly, that spirit will lead us to reclaim an America that we love and that we can be proud of. Because Meet the Moment work calls on our Unitarian Universalist values. Beginning in 2026, I'll be teaching a class on Unitarian Universalism, including history and everything about UUism, to ground us in our tradition so we can meet the moment grounded in our tradition. It'll start in January. And the Unitarian Universalist Association has provided resources which we will also use in that class to bookmark this deeper dive into Unitarian Universalism. Please look out for those dates and the registration link. But if you want to get started now, the UUA and other partners are offering a variety of opportunities. Some of the most creative, faithful leaders from across the UU ecosystem will be leading topic-oriented wave cohorts. I'm a part of one of the wave cohorts. They're praxis groups where people are invited, anyone's invited to learn and innovate and practice new ways of embodying our living tradition together in these times. You can find those resources at uua.org/congregation/meetthemoment. I'll send it out in the newsletter. A lot of politicians today are claiming that progressives, that some people hate America. I love America. The America represented by the millions who came out yesterday to reclaim their country from those who would destroy the true American way. This isn't about politics. It is, but it isn't. But this is about values, especially the American value of equitable freedom for all. Working together, I am confident that we can create an America that is defined not by hate, but by true liberty for all. Will you join me? Thank you.
Thank you. That was amazing.
Oh, thank you all.
Finding my words. Okay. We are very grateful for your continued gifts to PUC. If you'd like to give online today, you can scan the QR code to give with Zelle or PayPal. Your contributions continue the life and work of this beloved community. Please give generously. Please join me in the affirmation of gratitude printed in your order of service. Let us be grateful when we are able to give, for many do not have that privilege. Let us be grateful for all those who share their gifts, for we are enriched by their giving. And let us be grateful even for our needs, so that we may experience the generosity of others. This beloved community, oh, sorry.
As you are
This is
able.
me. Please rise as you are able. This beloved community is dedicated to the proposition that within all our differences, in all our diversity, there's a unity that makes us one, a bond that holds us together in spite of time and death and the space between the stars. We rise in silent witness to that unity.
May the blessing of love be upon you. May love's peace abide with you. May love's presence illuminate your hearts now and forevermore. So be it. Amen, Ashe, Shalom, Salam, Namaste, and blessed be. And now our service truly begins.
My coworker asked me for a pep talk the other day. And you know who else needed a pep talk? Maria von Trapp needed a pep talk. I think we all need a pep talk. This is the best musical one I think ever exists.